tell me, do you have some of the entrepreneurs that have had an impact on your ideas and inspiration?
Oh yeah, people have inspiring ideas, or I've seen things out, not just people, but nature and your environment that inspire you. And so like even coming out to Montenegro, you're going to see things a little differently, and in doing so, it actually could change the way you think about things and open up an opportunity or an idea that wasn't quite unlocked yet. So yeah, I don't have a specific example, but I'm always looking for people that inspire me, and there's been athletes, there's been, it's not just entrepreneurs, it's everyone, everyone you're kind of out watching and learning from, and you can draw things, from other places and apply them to, technology or to other things, so yeah, definitely.
Okay. What is unique about the entrepreneur's mindset?
Yeah, definitely. There's a kind of an entrepreneurial mind. It's approaching the way you approach problems, right? So some people, they may approach a problem thinking like, oh my gosh, it's a problem. Well, that's a dead end. Entrepreneurs look at problems as an opportunity. So if you look at a problem as an opportunity, you now have a whole new perspective on like what you can do with it, and it's just a different, more optimistic look at not looking at it as a wall I got to run into. It's more like, okay, what can I do to solve this problem?
Okay. In your TEDx talk, you told that you work in IT.
I did, yeah.
And after that, you founded Tech Hotel.
Yep, which ended up turning into Tech.co, yeah. So I used to develop. I used to be a coder. I went to school for that and started building products for large organizations, large media organizations, and some digital, stuff. And in doing so, I got into, actually started kind of fumble my way into blogging and blogging platforms, because I was building platforms that were similar, that were, and so what I realized is that in testing these platforms, I was like, wow, you can really create something and get your message out there and connect with people, and I got really addicted to it and started writing every single day, and that's kind of how I started getting into what I'm into today, and here we are, 10, 15 years later, and I'm still doing it. So I'm obviously passionate about the space, and but I didn't go to school to be a journalist or anything like that. But I have built my career on that, and I've written a book and everything else. So I think it's one of those things if you follow what you're passionate about, it doesn't matter what your degree's in. You can ultimately find your way, and that's kind of what I've done.
What was the biggest challenge in your career, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, being an entrepreneur is not easy. Doing your own thing is not easy. It's actually pretty scary. So I think the biggest challenge was actually pulling the Band-Aid off, or jumping off the diving board to actually do this full time. So I started Tech Cocktail as a part-time passion project, and it took me 3.5 years until I actually started doing it full time. And that was scary, because I was actually at AOL, which is, I was building products and leading up teams for them, leading up product teams, and it was a really good pay. I had really good flexibility. I liked what I was doing, loved the team I was working with. But at the end of the day, I realized that if I didn't go do this, I would regret it later, and I don't want to ever have any regrets. So I decided in 2010 to take the plunge, if you will, and I've been doing that since.
You're organizing events for IT scene, and why do you think that those kind of events are so important?
Yeah, no, I started, it started as Tech Cocktails, now Tech.co, but we started with the idea of bringing people together and amplifying the local community signal and things that were happening there. So really, there's a lot of people that work in their silos, so big companies, small companies, people in the community, and so I realized that there was an opportunity to connect those silos, and I think when you do that, magic happens, because there's people locally that may not realize that there's startups in the community, or they may not realize that there's, companies that could be their next, customers or whatever. And so I think there's really magic in events. It doesn't necessarily need to be large events, it can be smaller events, but, when people connect, good things happen.
Okay. The first thing that entrepreneurs need to realize about startups is?
First thing entrepreneurs need to realize about startups is, well, there's a lot of things they need to realize, but I'd say if I could pick
but the
one,
first association.
The first thing I thought about was, when you said that, was that you need to be super passionate about the thing you're going to do, because you might end up doing it for like 10 years. It's not going to be a one and like done kind of thing. It's not like, don't go into something if you think you're going to do it for like a year, maybe a year and a half. It could be I've been doing this for 10 years at least, and I'm still passionate about it today as I was when I first started it. So you need to realize that going in versus thinking about the quick exit or whatever. And so I think that's what a lot of entrepreneurs may be thinking about, and just know that whatever you get into, make sure you like it.
You were one of the speakers at the Spark Me conference.
Yes.
Why do you think that kind of conferences are important?
Well, that's a great question. I think all conferences have a different vibe and different opportunity, but the fact that they're bringing people together from all over the area and connecting them, giving them an opportunity to connect with all the different speakers and mentors, and it was a good opportunity, very intimate opportunity to connect with different people, and when you do that, you create relationships that last. So I think that's the important part, and I've had a great time out here.
Okay, thank you.